Just let me sleep in the boys' quarters, even if it is on the floor. With your lice and your smell, you will infect my dogs.
Jessica snapped her fingers. God forbid. You want to sleep in my house? With your lice and your smell? You will infect my dogs. Can a mother's love survive the wickedness of a greedy woman? Can a son see the truth before it is too late? In this life they say do not judge a book by its cover, but some people never learn until they have lost everything. Picture this. An old woman shivering in the cold, holding a dirty nylon bag, standing in front of a golden gate. She is hungry. He is tired. She has traveled for 12 hours just to see her son. But the woman standing at the door, the woman who claims to love her son, looks at her like she is trash. Get out of here, you smelly old witch, she screams. My husband is a billionaire. He does not have a mother who looks like a beggar. Before we dive into this emotional roller coaster, folks, please take a second to support us. If you love stories that touch the heart and teach a moral lesson, smash that like button right now. It helps us bring you more amazing stories. And if you are new here, welcome to the family. Click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another touching story from us. Drop a comment telling us where you are watching from. Let's jump into the story. The woman she pushed into the rain was not just a beggar. She was the owner of the empire. She was the one holding the keys to the billions. And she was there for one reason only, the ultimate test. What happens when the billionaire returns? What happens when the mask falls off? Will love conquer greed, or will pride lead to a devastating fall? You will be shocked by the ending of this story. It teaches a lesson that money can buy a bed but it cannot buy sleep. Can buy a house but not a home. Daniel Okung was a man who had the world at his feet. At just 32 years old, he was the CEO of Danoil and Gas, one of the biggest companies in the city. He had houses in Banana Island, cars that cost millions of naira, and workers who trembled whenever he walked into the office. But despite all his money, Daniel was a simple man at heart. He grew up in the village with nothing. His father died when he was just a baby, leaving his mother, Mama Nkechi, to raise him. All alone. Mama Nkechi sold roasted corn, she sold firewood, she even washed clothes for people just to send Daniel to school. He suffered. She sacrificed her wrapper to cover his shame. And God blessed her hustle. Daniel graduated with first-class honors, got a scholarship abroad, and came back to build an empire. Now that Daniel was rich, he wanted only one thing: a wife. A woman who would love him not for his billions but for his heart. But in the city of Lagos, that was hard to find. Every woman who smiled at him saw dollar signs in his eyes. Until he met Jessica. Jessica was breathtaking. She was a model, tall, light-skinned, with a shape that made heads turn. They met at a charity gala. She was wearing a red dress that sparkled under the lights. She spoke softly, acted kindly, and told Daniel that she ran a foundation for orphans. Daniel was swept off his feet. This is the one, he thought. She is beautiful and she has a good heart. Within 6 months he proposed. He gave her a ring worth 15 million naira. He moved her into his mansion. He gave her access to his black card. He thought he had found his queen. But unknown to Daniel, Jessica was an actress. The best kind. In front of him she was an angel. Baby, have you eaten? Baby, let me massage your feet. Baby, I love you so much. But the moment Daniel's car drove out of the gate, Jessica changed. He became a terror. The staff in the mansion lived in fear. The chef, Mr. Jacobs, an old man who had served Daniel for 5 years, was the first victim. One morning he made pancakes that were slightly too brown. Jessica threw the plate at the wall. Do you want to kill me with cancer? She screamed. What is this burnt offering? Are you stupid? Mr. Jacobs trembled. I am sorry, madam. I will make another one. Get out of my sight, she yelled. You smell like onions. Don't come near me. Daniel never saw this. When he came home, the house was quiet, the food was ready, and Jessica was smiling. One evening, Daniel called his mother in the village. Mama, I have good news. I have found a wife. Mama Nkechi, sitting on her small wooden bench in the village, smiled. My son, that is good news. Who is she? Does she fear God? Does she have respect? Daniel laughed. Mama, she is an angel. Her name is Jessica. She helps orphans. She is beautiful. I want you to come to the city to meet her. I want your blessing before the wedding. Mama Nkechi was happy, but deep inside her spirit she felt a heavy weight. A mother's instinct is never wrong. She had had a dream the night before where she saw Daniel sleeping in a golden bed, but there was a snake wrapped around his leg. "I will come, my son," she said. "But I will come in my own way. Do not send your driver. Do not send the private jet. I want to travel by myself." 2 days later, Mama Nkechi prepared for her journey. But she did not pack her expensive lace wrappers that Daniel had bought her. She did not wear her gold jewelry. Instead, she went to her old box. She pulled out a faded, torn wrapper. She found a blouse that had a hole in the armpit. She tied a dirty scarf around her head. She rubbed charcoal dust on her face to look darker and older. She carried a "gonna must go" bag that was held together with rope. Inside the bag she put dried fish, locust beans and yam. She looked like a pauper. She looked like a woman who had never seen 1,000 naira in her life. She took the long, bumpy bus ride to Lagos. When she arrived at the bus park, she was tired, sweaty, and smelled of the dried fish in her bag. She took a commercial bike and Okada to the wealthy estate where Daniel lived. The Okada rider stopped at the main estate gate. "Mama, they won't let me enter here. This place is for big men," he said. Mama Nkechi paid him and came down. She walked the rest of the way to Daniel's massive mansion. The sun was scorching hot. Her throat was dry. Her legs were shaking. But she pressed on. When she finally reached the black iron gates of Daniel's house, she knocked. The gateman, a new guy named Sunday, slid the small window open. He saw an old, dirty woman with a smelly bag. He frowned. "Yes. Who are you looking for? We don't give alms here. Go to the next street." Mama Nkechi swallowed her pride. She made her voice sound shaky and weak. "My son, please. I'm looking for Daniel. Daniel Okon. I am his relative from the village." Sunday laughed. "You? Relative to Chief Daniel? Do you know who lives here? Look at you. You look like you just crawled out of a dustbin. Oya, carry your bag and go. Boss is not around." "Please," Mama begged, leaning on the gate. "I have traveled far. I am hungry. Just let me sit inside the compound and wait for him. I promise I won't steal anything." Sunday looked at her. He was a rude man who learned his behavior from Jessica. He spat on the ground. "I said leave. If Madam meets you here, she will sack me. You village people are too stubborn." Just as Sunday was about to bang the gate shut, a sleek red Porsche drove up to the gate and honked loudly. Peep, peep. It was Jessica. She was returning from a spa date with her friends. Sunday panicked. He quickly opened the huge gates wide. Jessica drove in, but as she passed, she saw the dirty old woman standing by the pillar. He stopped the car. The window rolled down slowly. Cold air conditioning rushed out, hitting Mama Nkechi's sweaty face. Jessica lowered her designer sunglasses and looked at the woman with pure disgust. "Sunday," she screamed. "What is this thing standing at my gate? Did I not warn you about letting beggars crowd my entrance? It brings bad luck." Sunday rushed over, trembling. "Madam, I am sorry. I tried to pursue her. She said she is Oga's relative from the village." "Relative?" Jessica laughed, a cruel, mocking sound. She opened the car door and stepped out. Her heels clicked on the paved driveway. She walked up to Mama Nkechi, covering her nose with a silk handkerchief. You claim to be related to my Daniel? Look at you. You smell like, ugh, what is that smell?" "It is dried fish, my daughter," Mama Nkechi said softly, looking into Jessica's eyes. "I brought it for my son. I am his mother." There was silence for a second. Then Jessica burst into loud, uncontrollable laughter. She laughed until tears came out of her eyes. "His mother. Did you hear that, Sunday? She says she is Daniel's mother. You must be mad. You must be mentally unstable. My Daniel is a prince. His mother is a queen in the village, not a ragamuffin like you." "I am telling the truth," Mama said, her voice calm but her heart breaking. "Call him. Tell him Nkechi is here." Jessica stopped laughing. Her face turned stone cold. "I will do no such thing. Daniel is a very busy man. He is currently in a meeting in Abuja and won't be back until tomorrow. And even if he was here, I wouldn't let him see a dirty thing like you. You are a scammer. You people come from the village with charms to beg for money. Well, it won't work on me. Please," Mama pleaded, shifting the heavy bag on her head. "I have nowhere to go. I don't have money for a hotel. Just let me sleep in the boys' quarters. Even if it is on the floor. I will wait for him." Jessica snapped her fingers. "God forbid. You want to sleep in my house? With your lice and your smell? You will infect my dogs. Sunday. Yes, madam. Throw her out. And throw that smelling bag away. If she refuses to leave, release the dogs. Mama Nkechi's eyes widened. My daughter, you want to release dogs on an old woman? I am old enough to be your mother. Have mercy. I am not your daughter, Jessica hissed. And I don't have mercy for liars. Get out. Sunday grabbed Mama Nkechi's arm roughly. He dragged her away from the gate. Oya, old woman, start moving before madam gets angry. He pushed her and Mama stumbled. She fell onto the hard, dusty ground outside the gate. Her bag tipped over. The dried fish and locust beans spilled everywhere into the dirt. Pie food. Mama cried, trying to gather them with shaking hands. This is for Daniel. He likes this fish. Jessica watched from the driveway, arms folded, a smirk on her face. Disgusting. Sunday, clean that mess up when she leaves. I don't want flies in my compound. She turned around, her long weave flipping, and walked back to her car. She drove into the compound and the heavy black gates slammed shut in Mama Nkechi's face. Bang. Mama Nkechi sat in the dirt. Her knees were bleeding slightly. Tears rolled down her charcoal-covered cheeks. She looked at the closed gate, then up at the sky. So this is the woman my son wants to marry, she whispered. This is the angel? She stood up slowly. She could have called Daniel. She had a small Nokia phone tucked in her bra. One call and Daniel would have flown back from Abuja. One call and Sunday would be jobless. But she didn't. She needed to see how deep the rot went. She needed to know if this girl had any redemption in her. She gathered her spilled items, dusted her wrapper, and limped across the street to sit under a mango tree. She would wait. She would sleep under the stars if she had to. Night came. The clouds gathered. It started to rain. It wasn't a small rain. It was a Lagos storm. Thunder crashed. The wind howled. Mama Nkechi huddled under the tree, shivering. She was soaked to the bone. She was cold, hungry, and her heart was heavy with sorrow. Inside the mansion, Jessica was in the warm, well-lit living room. She was on a video call with her friend, Toke. She was sipping red wine and laughing. Girl, you won't believe what happened today, Jessica said, examining her nails. Some dirty old witch came here claiming to be Daniel's mother. Can you imagine? The audacity of poor people. Toke laughed on the other end. His mother. Please. Did you give her money? Money. Jessica scoffed. I gave her the exit. I told Sunday to throw her out. It's raining now, so hopefully the rain washes her back to her village. They both burst into laughter. Meanwhile, outside in the storm, a car approached. It wasn't Daniel's car. It was an old, beat-up Toyota Camry. It belonged to Mr. Henderson, a neighbor who lived 3 houses away. Mr. Henderson was a kind man, a retired teacher who wasn't rich but was comfortable. He saw the figure huddled under the tree. He slowed down. He wound down his window. Madam? Madam, are you okay? Mama Nkechi looked up, her teeth chattering. She couldn't speak. Mr. Henderson didn't think twice. He parked his car, grabbed an umbrella, and ran to her. Oh my God, Mama. You will catch pneumonia. What are you doing here? I came to see my son, she stuttered. But they drove me away. Who is your son? Daniel. Daniel Okone. Mr. Henderson looked at the massive gates of the Okone mansion. He knew Jessica. He knew how nasty she could be. He shook his head. Come, Mama. Come with me. You cannot stay here. He helped her into his car. He took her to his modest home down the street. His wife, Mrs. Henderson, rushed out. They gave her a warm towel, dry clothes, and a hot plate of pepper soup. Mama Nkechi ate with tears in her eyes. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you. You are good people. Don't worry, Mama, Mr. Henderson said. Sleep here tonight. Tomorrow we will sort this out. Back at the mansion, the next morning brought sunshine, but for Jessica, it brought a surprise she was not expecting. Daniel called. Baby, Daniel's voice sounded on the phone. I'm landing in Lagos in 2 hours. I finished the meeting early. I missed you. Jessica smiled. Ah, baby, come home quick. I missed you too. By the way, Daniel added, my mom said she was traveling down. Have you heard from her? She's not picking her calls. Jessica's heart skipped a beat. The old woman. The beggar. Could it be? No. Impossible. Daniel's mother would not look like a madwoman. No, baby, she lied. Just as they were about to enter the house, the small pedestrian gate opened. It creaked loudly, drawing their attention. Daniel turned around. Jessica turned around, annoyed that her romantic moment was interrupted. Walking in was Mr. Henderson, the neighbor. And beside him, holding her head high despite her tattered clothes, was Mama Nkechi. She was wearing the clean, dry clothes the Hendersons gave her, but she still clutched her old nylon bag. She looked weary, but her eyes were burning with a fire that only a mother possesses. Jessica froze. Her eyes bulged out of her head. She looked as if she had seen a ghost. You, she whispered, her voice trembling. Then, realizing Daniel was standing right there, she quickly switched to attack mode. Panic took over her senses. She screamed, "Security! Sunday! Where are you? How did this mad woman get in here again?" Daniel looked confused. He squinted his eyes. He looked at the old woman. He looked at the nylon bag. Then he looked at the face. His heart stopped. He dropped the expensive bags he was holding. They hit the floor with a heavy thud. "Mama," Daniel whispered. Jessica jumped in front of him, blocking his view. "Baby, don't look at her. It's a trick." Jessica rushed forward, trying to pull Daniel up. "Baby, get up. He is lying. She's using black magic. Can't you smell her? He smells like poverty. How can this be your mother? You are a billionaire. This woman belongs in the market." "Shut up," Daniel roared. His voice echoed off the walls of the mansion. The birds in the trees flew away in fear. Sunday, the gateman who was running towards them, froze in his tracks. He had never heard his boss shout like that before. Daniel stood up, his eyes red. He looked at Jessica. "This woman," he pointed a shaking finger at Mama Nkechi, "is the reason I am breathing today. She is the reason I have this house. She is the reason I have this money. She carried firewood on this head so I could wear a suit. And you say she smells like poverty?" Jessica stepped back, fear creeping into her eyes. But she wasn't ready to give up. She was too proud. She laughed nervously. Okay, maybe she is your mother. But look at how she came. She came looking like a beggar. How was I supposed to know? She tried to deceive me. It's not my fault. She didn't introduce herself properly." "I did," Mama Nkechi said quietly. "I told you. I looked you in the eye and told you I am his mother. I brought dry fish. I brought locust beans. I told you I traveled far. And what did you do?" Mama Nkechi turned to Daniel. "My son, ask her what she did." Daniel turned to Jessica. His face was dark. "Jessica, what did you do?" Jessica stammered. I told Sunday to escort her out. Because of security. You know how dangerous Lagos is. I was protecting our home." "Protecting?" Mr. Henderson cut in. His voice was sharp. "Daniel, I found your mother shivering under a mango tree in the thunderstorm last night. He was soaked. He was crying. She was hungry. She told me she begged this woman to let her sleep in the boys' quarters on the floor. Just to wait for you. And this woman," he pointed at Jessica, "ordered the gateman to throw her out like a dog. She said she would release the dogs on her." Daniel felt like someone had punched him in the stomach. You threw my mother into the rain?" She looked dirty. Jessica screamed, losing her composure. "Yes. I did it. Look at her. Who comes to a billionaire's house looking like a refugee? She embarrassed me. If my friends saw her, what would they say? That I am marrying into a family of paupers? Daniel, you need to upgrade her. Why is she looking like this if you have money?" Mama Nkechi stepped forward. She dropped the nylon bag. "I looked like this because I wanted to see who you really are," she said. "Daniel sent me money for the flight. He sent me money for clothes. I kept it. I chose to come like this. And now I know," Mama continued. "You are beautiful on the outside, my daughter. Your skin is like milk. Your hair is like silk. But your inside? It is full of maggots. You are rotten. How dare you?" Jessica raised her hand to slap the old woman. It was a reflex. She was used to slapping maids. She was used to slapping chefs. She forgot who was standing there. Daniel caught her hand in midair. His grip was like iron. "Don't dare," Daniel hissed. He threw her hand away with such force that Jessica stumbled back and nearly fell. "You wanted to slap my mother?" Daniel asked, his voice dangerously low. In my house. In front of me. She insulted me. Jessica cried, playing the victim. Daniel, can't you see? She hates me. She came here to destroy our relationship. She is a wicked mother-in-law. Choose Daniel. It's either her or me. If she stays in this house tonight, I am leaving. It was the ultimate ultimatum. Jessica was sure she would win. She was the young hot fiancée. She was the one who warmed his bed. She was the trophy wife. Surely, Daniel would not choose a village woman over her. Daniel looked at Jessica. He looked at the house. He looked at the cars. Then he looked at his mother, who was standing quietly waiting. You want to leave? Daniel asked. Yes. Jessica shouted. If she doesn't go back to the village right— I am sorry, sir. You are fired, Daniel said. Leave my compound. Now. Sunday wailed, rolling on the floor, but Daniel ignored him. He turned his eyes back to Jessica. And you, Daniel said. You asked me to choose. I have chosen. My mother slept under a tree because of you. My mother who starved so I could eat. You think you can compare yourself to her because you wear Gucci? Baby, I'm sorry. Jessica changed her tune instantly. She realized she had overplayed her hand. She rushed to him, trying to hug him. I was just angry. It was a mistake. I love her. Mama, I love you. Please tell him. She tried to grab Mama Nkechi's hand, but Mama pulled it away. Do not touch me, Mama said. Your hands are too clean for my dirty rags. Daniel, please. Jessica begged, tears running down her face. Real tears this time, tears of a woman losing her gold mine. We are getting married next month. The invitations are out. What will people say? They will say that Daniel Ocon dodged a bullet, Daniel replied. Go upstairs. Pack your things. Everything you bought with your money you can take. Everything I bought with my money stays here. That means I have nothing. Jessica screamed. The clothes, the jewelry, the bags, you bought them all. Exactly, Daniel said. You came here with nothing but a suitcase of pretenses. Yes, Mama said. And I heard her on the phone this morning when Mr. Henderson brought me to the gate to listen. She was talking to someone named Toby. She said, the fool is coming back today, so you have to leave. Daniel's blood ran cold. Toby. That was his rival. His business competitor. The man who had been trying to buy Dan oil and gas for years. Are you sure, Mama? I may be old, Mama said, tapping her ear, but my ears are sharp. She's not just greedy, my son. She is a spy. Daniel clenched his fists. This was not just a broken engagement. This was corporate espionage. This was betrayal on the highest level. He looked up the stairs where Jessica was packing. Sunday, he shouted, forgetting he had just fired him. Sunday ran back. Yes, Olga. Lock the gates, Daniel ordered. Nobody leaves. Call the police. Jessica, who was listening from the balcony, froze. The police? She dropped her bag. She realized that being kicked out was the least of her problems. Her secret was out. Jessica froze on the staircase. Her legs felt like yam pottage, soft and unable to hold her weight. The police? For what? She thought she was just being kicked out for being rude to an old woman. She didn't know Daniel knew about the leak. She didn't know Mama Nkechi had eyes like an eagle. Daniel, please, she screamed, rushing down the stairs, tripping over her expensive heels. She landed at his feet, grabbing his trousers. It's a lie. Your mother is lying. She hates me. I don't know any Toby. I am faithful to you. Daniel looked down at her. His face was no longer the face of a lover. It was the face of a CEO who had just found a thief in his treasury. My mother lied about the rain? He asked calmly. She lied about the insult? And now you say she is lying about the man? Yes. Yes. Jessica cried. She is old. She is senile. She is imagining things. Mama Nkechi stepped forward. She didn't shout. She didn't scream. She simply reached into her bra and pulled out a small old Nokia phone. I may be old, she said, but I know how to press record. She pressed a button. A grainy, scratchy recording played, but the voices were clear. It was Jessica's voice, speaking from the balcony earlier. Don't worry, Toby. The fool is coming back today. I have the files on his laptop. I'll send them tonight. Once we ruin his contract with the government, Danwell will crash and you can buy it for cheap. Then I will leave him and come to you. The recording stopped. The silence in the living room was louder than a market. Jessica stopped crying. Her mouth hung open. She looked at the old Nokia phone as if it was a gun pointing at her head. She had insulted the woman for being poor, not knowing that the poor woman was holding the evidence of her destruction. You recorded me? Jessica whispered. I told you, Mama Nkechi said, putting the phone back. A mother protects her child. Even from a snake in a Gucci dress. Just then the sirens grew louder. The heavy gates opened and 3 police trucks drove in. Officers jumped out, led by the divisional police officer, DPO, himself. They marched into the living room. Officer, Daniel said, pointing at Jessica. Arrest her. Corporate espionage, theft and attempted destruction of property. And check her phone. You will find the messages to Toby Adebayor. No. No. Jessica screamed as the officers grabbed her hands. The cold steel handcuffs clicked around her wrists. Daniel, I am your wife. We are getting married next month. You can't do this. The wedding is cancelled, Daniel said, turning his back on her. Take her away. As they dragged Jessica out, she wasn't looking like a queen anymore. Her wig was sliding off. Her makeup was running. She was screaming, cursing Mama Nkechi, cursing the gateman, cursing the world. The neighbors, hearing the noise, had gathered outside the gate. They watched as the arrogant, proud Madam Jessica was thrown into the back of a police van like a common criminal. It was a disgrace she would never recover from. Sunday, the gateman stood by the gate, head bowed in shame. He watched the police van drive away. He knew his job was gone, but he also knew he deserved it. He had chosen to fear a wicked woman instead of respecting a human being. Back inside the mansion, the air felt lighter. It felt clean. Daniel sat on the sofa, his head in his hands. He was heartbroken, yes. But he was also relieved. He had almost married a monster. He felt a warm hand on his shoulder. It was Mama Nkechi. "Hi, son," she said gently. "Do not cry for a loss that is actually a gain. God removed the roof to show you the sky." Daniel looked up and hugged his mother tight. "Mama, I am sorry. I nearly threw you away for her. I was blind." "You were not blind," Mama smiled. "You were just in love. Love can make a wise man foolish. But that is why you have a mother." That evening, Daniel ordered his driver to go to the finest boutique in Lagos. He didn't go himself, he sent Mama Nkechi with a blank check. "Buy anything," he told her. "I want you to look like the queen mother you are." When Mama returned, she was transformed. She wore a grand blue lace with silver embroidery. She wore a matching headgear, Gelly, that touched the ceiling. She wore gold jewelry that shone brighter than the sun. She didn't look like the beggar at the gate anymore. She looked like the owner of the estate. But there was one more thing left to do. "Hi, son," Mama said. "There is a man. Mr. Henderson. He saved me when I was in the rain. He gave me his bed. He gave me food. He didn't know who I was. He just saw a human being in need." Daniel nodded. "I know him. He lives down the street. He is a retired teacher. His car is always breaking down. And," Daniel continued, pointing out the window, "that Toyota Camry you drive. I have tried. It needs to rest." Outside the window, parked right next to Mr. Henderson's old car, was a brand new tear-rubber Toyota Highlander SUV. It was black. It was shiny. It had a red ribbon on it. "That is for you," Daniel said. "And a check of 10 million naira for your fuel." Mr. Henderson fainted. It took 10 minutes to wake him up with cold water. When he woke up, he was crying. He thanked God. He thanked Daniel. He thanked Mama Nkechi. He went home dancing. His kindness to a beggar had changed his life forever. 1 year later, the mansion was full of life again. But this time there was no shouting. There was no firing of staff. The kitchen smelled of agouti soup and pounded yam. In the garden, a wedding reception was held. But it wasn't a celebrity wedding. There were no cameras from blogs. It was quiet, intimate, and full of genuine love. Daniel stood at the altar. Beside him was his new bride, Sarah. Sarah wasn't a model. She wasn't a social media influencer. She was Mr. Henderson's niece. She was a primary school teacher. She was simple. She wore a modest dress. She had no heavy makeup. But when she smiled, Daniel saw his future. Mama Nkechi sat in the front row, fanning herself with a golden fan. She looked at her son, then she looked at the empty gate where she had once stood in the rain. She remembered Jessica. Jessica was currently in Kirikiri prison, awaiting trial for corporate theft. Toby had denied knowing her, leaving her to rot alone. She had lost her beauty, her freedom, and her pride. Mama Nkechi turned to the guests and whispered to the woman beside her. You see this life? Pride goes before a fall. You can be beautiful like a goddess, but if your character is ugly, you will end up in the dustbin of history. Daniel kissed his bride. The guests clapped. The music played. And for the first time in a long time, the Okon mansion was not just a house. It was a home. And so, we come to the end of our story. Thank you for watching till the end. Did you enjoy this story? Did it make you cry? Did it make you angry? Let us know in the comments section. Who is your favorite character? Was it the wise Mama Nkechi, the kind Mr. Henderson, or are you happy Jessica got what she deserved? Type, justice served, in the comments if you are happy with the ending. Please don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends and family on WhatsApp and Facebook, and subscribe to our channel. We upload touching stories like this every single week. Turn on that notification bell so you are the first to know when we drop the next banger. Until next time, stay blessed.